You know, we've all heard the theory, but what if? What if it were actually true? Today, we're going to explore a pretty wild physics puzzle. What would really happen if the Earth was flat? Let's dive in.
So picture this. Our world isn't that familiar blue marble, but instead it's a giant spinning disk. Now, for a moment, we're going to set aside the fact that this is, impossible, and just explore the catastrophic consequences. What would it actually be like to live on a flat Earth? The first and most immediate danger isn't what you'd think. It's not about falling off. Oh no, the problem is far more fundamental, and it would make a trip to the edge a one-way journey for a totally different and frankly very strange reason. To understand why a flat Earth is just so completely doomed, we have to start with the most powerful force in the universe, gravity. And let me tell you, it would not work the way you think it would. And that changes everything. This completely flips our whole understanding of what down even means. See, on our round Earth, gravity pulls us toward the center of the planet, which we feel is down. But on a flat disk, the center of mass would be the literal middle of the pancake, kind of like where the North Pole is. Gravity wouldn't pull you down, it would pull you sideways toward that center point. And the pull would get stronger and stronger the farther away from the center you moved. This kicks off a just devastating chain of events. First, everything, and I mean everything, the oceans, the trees, you and me, we would all be dragged toward the center. The result? The middle of the disk would get crushed under an unimaginable amount of pressure. And then even the air itself would get sucked away from the rim, leaving a total vacuum at the edge. And this right here is why a planet-sized flat disk just can't exist in the real universe. Gravity pulls evenly from all directions, and it naturally forms a sphere. It's just the most efficient shape for a huge object to hold itself together. And breaking this fundamental rule leads us straight to the next catastrophic problem. So, we figured out that gravity would pull all the air toward the center of the disk. What would that actually mean for anyone trying to survive on this bizarre world? Well, you'd have to choose between two impossible extremes. If you're near the center, maybe in the Arctic, the air pressure would be so immense it'd be like living at the bottom of the ocean. You'd just be crushed. But out on the rim, somewhere like Australia, the atmosphere would be so thin you'd suffocate. There's literally nowhere anyone could survive. As if getting crushed or suffocating wasn't bad enough, our flat Earth has another fatal flaw. This one isn't about gravity on the surface, but about something that's missing deep inside the planet itself. You see, our spherical Earth has a spinning, molten iron core. This whole thing acts like a giant engine, and it generates a powerful magnetic field that works like a protective shield all around our planet. A flat Earth, well, it would just be a solid disk, cold and lifeless at its center. It would have no engine to generate this absolutely vital shield. And without that molten core, you get this terrifying domino effect. No core means no magnetic field. No magnetic field means no shield against the sun's incredibly harsh radiation and solar winds. Those winds would just strip away what little atmosphere was left, causing the oceans to boil away into space. The surface would be completely exposed, and every living thing would be fried by deadly cosmic rays. So where does all this leave our hypothetical flat Earth? We've watched it get pulled apart by gravity, made totally unlivable by its atmosphere, and then sterilized by the sun. The final picture is, well, it's incredibly bleak. The takeaway here is pretty clear. The spherical shape of our planet isn't just some random coincidence. It's the very reason life here is even possible. It allows for stable gravity, a protective atmosphere, and that magnetic shield. A flat Earth wouldn't just be an oddity. It would be fundamentally hostile to life in every single way you can imagine. And in the end, that's all it would be. A dead, frozen plate spinning through space. A barren, lifeless disk, scoured by radiation and with no air or water. It's a powerful reminder that the laws of physics that shape our world aren't just abstract ideas. They are the architects of our very existence.